Good morning, Purdue University and listeners around the country. Welcome into Next Point Wins. I am your host, Matthew Geely. Thanks for stopping in this morning for what should be a very exciting show. A disclaimer, I got to get out before we start. And if you're new to the show, thanks for joining us. This is a 1 hour long sports talk podcast live show on WCCR Purdue and the Tuned In app. And if you're new to the show, you might know that every day is the Super Bowl. And that's something that we pride ourselves around here at Next Point Wins, the guys in the back. And all of my supporters out there know that we treat every day like it's the Super Bowl. No days off. You just come in, you work. Hardest working people in the business. And then you get out and have some fun. Well, I'm going to be honest. Today, I am not at 100%. Not only am I not at 100%, I'm not even near 100%. I would put the voice, the moneymaker, the thing that brings you guys all so much laughter and insightful responses and great content, I would put this voice at about 40%, and that might be generous. I think we could get down into the single digits by the end of the show. Called some wrestling on Friday for BTN Student U, and then I backed that up with doing official stats for BTN on Saturday, and then I finished out the weekend doing wrestling again on Sunday, and did some heavy lifting on the broadcast on Friday night, which kind of set me back, and the voice just hasn't recovered since. So we got cough drops. They're not a sponsor, so can't really tell you which ones I have. We got coffee. We have, if you're watching on YouTube, and by the way, if you miss any part of this podcast, you can find it on YouTube with video. We updated right after the show with the newest season. Just search Next Point Wins. You can also listen on SoundCloud if you missed the show. If you don't want to see my face, go to SoundCloud because that's just a photo of the logo. And if you missed any of the previous shows, the most recent show is on SoundCloud, and then all the archives of all seasons of Next Point Wins, those are found on YouTube. So if you miss anything, go back, check it out. You're going to get a lot of that. I should get I should have produced this better. I didn't think about it until right now. Of course, my best ideas come to me during the show, but I need some kind of audio I can hit when I need a water break, like something that screams water, get your water or something. I don't know. Maybe work on that for next week. That's how my brain works. You guys wonder how I put this on. There's a lot that goes on. I mean, you can see right there if you watch it on YouTube, this whole board of nonsense that has all my audio levels that as I just knocked this mic, all these audio levels that all I know is if it's in the red, you're too loud. And shockingly, but I almost hit the red every time we do Unsportsmanlike Conduct. We do have one Unsportsmanlike Conduct coming up later in the show. So then we got that going on. Then we got this record player over here, which just is off camera, that I don't know how to work, but it looks cool. And then you have a couple CD players, once again, don't know how to work. Looks cool. And then you can see just the beginning of all the records. I'll give you a quick little 360 twist here. This is great for live radio. So if you're listening live on the radio, you're probably like, this is the best content ever because I can see everything he's talking about. Those are the records. And then we got a whole other shelf of CDs. I spent I think my first year in here, I spent a good 30 minutes looking through those records. There's a lot of content. I don't have a record player. Sometimes I wish I did. They're making a huge comeback. Vinyl is really in. And my biggest thing is I don't have records. But then I look in here, I'm like, there's got to be something in here I like. Although most of the music associated with this room isn't stuff that I care for, or most people do. But anywho, Next Point Wins. My name is Matthew Geely. Thanks for joining us this morning. You can contact the show at nextptwins@gmail.com. There's where you can find an easy outlet to get a hold of me and let me know how you're feeling and what you're wanting to talk about. We transitioned out of football, and this is a scary moment for me on this show, and it is every year because, well, it's important for me that what's the word I'm looking for? That we cover everything that's important. But that being said, we're out of football. We have no football. I know that AAF's going on. I didn't watch a second of it, so I can't even really talk about it. But I know that it got a lot of press on Twitter. I think it's more of just like it's new. It's the new thing, so everybody's like all in on it. I don't think it's actually like something that people like or will enjoy. I don't mean that to sound rude. It's just that's my opinion on it. So I don't think it's something that we need to really dive into and get into. If it holds water and keeps becoming something that's popular, of course I'll talk about it. I'll talk about anything on this show that's popular. I know the Grammys were last night. Didn't watch the Grammys. Kind of wish I did. Had a little bit of FOMO, fear of missing out. I'm not gonna lie, but there's just a lot of music nowadays that I just don't listen to, and I don't even know, and so I didn't really find the interest level to watch it. What did I watch last night? I caught up on a couple shows. Northwestern Iowa was pretty good. We're gonna talk about a lot of college basketball today, which is right in my wheelhouse because I've watched a scary amount of college basketball in these last couple weeks. So I have a pretty good grasp on where we're sitting so far in the field and in specific conferences. We'll dive into the selection committee putting out their first top 16 seeds or teams and then their top 4 seeds. We'll dive into that too. But first, let's recap some Purdue basketball, right? What else would we do on this beautiful Monday? Boilermakers knocked off Nebraska on Saturday night in what was a pretty lopsided game. Nebraska kept it close at half. Purdue came out in the second half, turned it on, and never looked back. Not a great Nebraska team. Definitely was a better Nebraska team a couple days ago. So that is important to note. Saturday was a crazy schedule of games. There's a lot going on. Purdue ended up winning that one 81-62. I couldn't remember the final score, but now I got it. And a couple highlight plays. Carson Edwards pinning a shot off with his forearm with a big block. He had a nice behind-the-back pass as well. He had a behind-the-back pass to Williams, and then Williams had a beautiful dish off to Wheeler. We're just passing the ball so much better. We're moving the ball so much better. I don't know how many turnovers we had. Yeah, dude, we had 8. That's really good. And keep that under 10. We're going to be in great shape. Huge game coming up on Tuesday. I'll preview that in a minute. But going back to Saturday, yeah, Grady Eifert played really well. 4 of 4 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3. 29 minutes of action. That is good for 4th highest on the team. You look at these numbers, and there's 2 spots that are not concerning to me, but I'm confused on. The first spot is I'm confused how Grady has 29 minutes of play, Wheeler has 11, and Evan Boudreau has 0. Goose egg. Again, he can't find the floor right now. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know if he's just not finding his role at the moment. Maybe it's just that we're going good right now, so we're kind of sticking to what's working. I don't know what it is, but 4th highest minutes to Grady Eifert's a little scary. Now, here's the second thing that pops out at me that shows why Coach Painter is so good at what he does. Travion Williams starts in the game, plays 17 minutes. Matt Harms comes off the bench, 23 minutes. Matt Harms is the upperclassman. He's the seasoned veteran. He knows how Big Ten play goes, and he knows how to take bumps and lumps. And Coach Painter knows that he's best off the bench. So what does he do? He gets him still those 23 minutes, and he finds a way to do it with Harms coming off the bench, playing key minutes down the stretch, and being a serious factor. Biggest thing for him, 8 rebounds. That's huge. Matt Harms needs to rebound. 8 rebounds is great. 1 assist, 4 blocks, 1 turnover, 4 points. Not his best game in the scoring category, but he made a difference, and he made an impact. And that's exactly what you want. So now we look ahead, and we look ahead to Tuesday in what is going to be the biggest game left on the schedule. going for a 9th straight win, 6:30 p.m. on BTN at 24 Maryland. That's going to change as the rankings come out today. We're going to go up some spots as well. I saw us at 10. I saw us at 12. I saw us at 13. At Maryland. Maryland with a lot of size. First time these two faced off in Mackey. Purdue, as you remember, got the better hand of them by a final score of 62-60. Maryland was 23 at that time. It's a good team. It's a really good Maryland team. I talked about how we have like clumps of important games down the stretch. We're in the middle of a clump right now, Nebraska, Maryland. That's a 2-game clump. And then you get a break at home against Penn State. That's one that you just can't mess up. I mean, that's on a tee. Just knock it home. And then you get another clump. And this one might be even more scary. At IU, at Nebraska. And then you get a little help at home against Illinois and Ohio State, who's not a great team, especially not at home, even though they got our last win in Mackey. Again. So I wouldn't call either of those tough. And then you finish it off with one more clump at Minnesota, at Northwestern. Not like, aside from Maryland, that's our last ranked opponent. It's the last team we're going to face that's going to be ranked this year. We are going to be favored in every game except for maybe Tuesday night. We have set ourselves up to go win a Big Ten title and to get a couple quality wins in the Big Ten tournament and get a 3 or 2 seed. We have set ourselves up for that. And if you would have told me that after we lost to Florida State, except for it was at Florida State by 1. Looking back on it, that's a game we should have won, and if we would have won, would have been a huge resume builder because Florida State has gone nowhere. We lost against Virginia Tech by 6, another game that we were in. Virginia Tech is starting to fall off because they got some injuries, but they have been a top 25 team since that game. Would have been a huge resume builder. And then at Texas, a game where Carson Edwards goes off and we still can't find a way to win. And then you throw in a loss against Michigan that we got demolished. And then the worst one of them all, the most ugly-looking loss right now, is against Notre Dame. Notre Dame is horrible this year. Horrible. But they get us at the crossroads. And at that moment, you didn't have to look very far and very wide to find people who say, we're not going to the tournament. Now, March Madness Committee has this as a 3 seed. And let's get into that right now. So, let's just go through we're going to go through seed by seed who we got, and I'll tell you if it's where they're going to be, if they're too high or too low. For all of you who fill out a bracket, which should be almost all of you, these are some things to keep in the back of your head because I'm telling you, I'm seeing this board as clearly as I ever have at the moment. I've watched a lot of basketball, a stupid amount of basketball. Number 1 overall seed, Duke. Makes sense. Duke is the number 1 overall seed. They are as advertised. They're legit. Second number 1 seed, Tennessee. Legit as well. High flying, spread the ball, run and gun, play defense, long, lanky, great team. These are reflective of Friday night. No, Saturday morning is when they release these, by the way. So any games that happen on Saturday and Sunday don't reflect these. All right, quick cough break. All right, we're back. So, number 3, Virginia. Third number 1 seed, Virginia. Virginia, not good. I shouldn't say not good. They're not. Okay, they're good. Virginia's good. They're not a number 1 seed, and they're not a team that scares me. If you're anybody who's not a 1 seed and Virginia at the end of the year is in that situation as a possible number 1, that's the team you beg to get in their bracket. Here's the other team you beg to get in their bracket, Gonzaga. Also, I don't think they stand up as a legit number one. You want to be in Virginia or Gonzaga's bracket at the moment. 2 seeds. The top overall 2 seed, Kentucky. Kentucky is good. Kentucky is really good, actually. And it's surprising because Kentucky shouldn't be this good this early in the year. Kentucky is young. Shocker. Kentucky has a lot of one-and-dones. Shocker. But this time, Kentucky put it together kind of quickly. And they're quickly rising as one of the best teams in the nation. And they're good. The second number 2 seed, Michigan. Michigan is still phenomenal. Michigan took a step back. Don't get me wrong. A couple question mark performances. But they're still really good and a number 2 seed for sure. And probably the best chance out of the Big Ten to jump up to a 1 would be Michigan, because I would still put them in us and Michigan are definitely in the lead to win the Big Ten, and I would put Michigan as the front runner to win the tournament, Big Ten tournament. And if they can do that, they'll be right up there, probably knocking on Virginia or Gonzaga's door for number 1. So Michigan's legit. So is Kentucky, by the way. They could get up to a number 1 as well. I think Duke and Tennessee are locks up there. And then and with Tennessee, it's probably Tennessee or Kentucky for that one. Yeah. Number 7 overall, and the second number 2 seed the third number 2 seed is North Carolina. North Carolina almost had a really bad loss at home against Miami. Miami took them to overtime and lost. Miami is a bad team. North Carolina should have lost the game. They didn't. If you're looking at Purdue and you're like, okay, who can they leapfrog to get a number 2 seed? North Carolina is definitely one of those teams. And the other team that could possibly be the one is Michigan State, who is the 4th number 2 seed. And we've seen their flaws. They still got 2 games against Michigan. I keep coming back to that. That's where we're going to decide who's really going to be around for the Big Ten. Purdue needs Michigan State to beat Michigan at least once. And really, Purdue could afford for Michigan State to beat them twice. I don't know if they will. We'll see. And then here comes the 3 seeds. The first overall 3 seed is your Purdue Boilermakers. That's a great spot to be in. I had them as a 3 seed. I thought they'd be like the 3rd 3 seed or second 3. Wow, that's a tongue twister. The 3rd seed or the 2nd 3rd seed. But they come in as the 1st, which is huge. It's a great spot to be. Kansas, 2nd number 3 seed. Kansas is not good. I do not like Kansas at all. I know they're Kansas, and they might not even win the Big 12, which is like shocking for Kansas, but I'm not a fan of Kansas. Kansas doesn't move the needle for me like it should. So, and then you keep moving your way down. Houston, don't know much about Houston, actually. Haven't watched much of their games. Marquette, good 3-point shooting team, good team from the outside. Now your 4 seeds, Iowa State, Nevada, Louisville, and Wisconsin. Iowa State had a tough loss on Saturday, a game they should have won. Iowa State is very hot and cold. They're another one of those teams just like Tennessee that likes to spread it out, move the ball, get up the court, long, lanky, shoot the ball, offense. When shots don't fall, you get in trouble. Nevada's legit. Louisville's pretty good. They're getting better. They had a tough loss, though, on Saturday as well, a game that they probably should have won. And then Wisconsin, who's sneaky, very sneaky Wisconsin team who's kind of hung around and took in their lumps and gotten over them and almost gave Michigan a good run for their money on Saturday. Michigan came out on top, but you look at some teams that didn't make it that are interesting to me. Villanova, nowhere to be found. Villanova's on a winning streak at the moment. I take that back. They just lost Saturday. Before Saturday, they were on a winning streak, and they're getting better. They lost like 4 starters to the NFL. NFL. I miss football. To the NBA. So it took them a little time to grow, but they are growing. Virginia Tech, now on the list. Don't really care. Texas Tech now on the list. That's notable for me. They're pretty good. And LSU. I don't really believe in LSU. They're kind of a... LSU is one of those teams that's going to be like a 6 seed or a 5 seed or maybe even a 4. And if you're looking for an upset, LSU's definitely the one. Overrated SEC. Let's see here. I'm looking at this report by Scott Gleason of USA Today, who kind of talks about this field of 16, and he had three biggest issues with the rankings. His first issue was Houston being a 3 seed. He thought they should be a 2. His second issue was Purdue, who he thought should have been higher than a 3, should have been a 4 seed or a 5. Hater. And then Nevada, also, he didn't really like. So, whatever. So that's the first really look. We'll have the updated AP Top 25 coming out today. If you look at the current rankings, teams above Purdue that should drop. Villanova, who's at 14. They lost. They should go down. I don't remember what Kansas did. They probably won. Oh, Kansas won one and lost one. Kansas should be dropping. So that's 2 spots ahead of us. This should be going down. Houston won. They continue on. Virginia Tech sits at 11. They took 2 losses this week, so you can say goodbye to them. They'll be below us. And then Marquette at 10. Marquette had a win against Villanova and a loss to St. John's. So they're either going to stay put or drop a couple. I don't know if they drop below us. So we're looking at about, I would say, 10, 11, or 12 for sure. So we're moving up. Keep on moving up with a big one on Tuesday. All right. Let's talk about the Big Ten. We'll just continue this college basketball chat. And let's go Big Ten, because Big Ten is starting to kind of shape into form. Hearing a lot of talk about possible 8 teams making the tournament out of the Big Ten. I would strongly recommend we just kind of pump the brakes on that one a little bit. If we look up and down the Big Ten, I see 6 legit teams that should probably get in the tournament. From the top, Michigan, Purdue, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Maryland, and Iowa. Those 6 teams should get in. I don't believe Ohio State has done enough to get in. I don't believe Minnesota has done enough to get in. And then you keep looking down that Big Ten chart, and teams that have almost mathematically eliminated themselves from making the tournament unless they go on a run in the Big Ten tournament would be Penn State, Nebraska, Northwestern, Rutgers, Illinois, and IU. What is going on in Bloomington? Now, if you're new to the show, let's get one thing out of the way here quickly. All right, if you're new to the show, you should know this. Yes, this is a Purdue student radio show. Yes, 98% of my audience is Purdue students. But it's not my job to come on here and just pile on and talk about how horrible IU is and how much we hate them. I like to look at it as what is going on. Not making fun, but just like trying to figure it out. Because there's too much talent on. You can talk about injuries. You could talk about new guys. You could talk about freshmen. You could talk about a young team. You could talk about as much as that as you want. You can. Fine with me. But there is too much talent on this IU team for them to be this bad. There is. 4-9 in conference. 13-11 overall. 13 wins. They're better than that. There's no doubt about it. You have a win over Marquette, which you smoked them early in the season. Bad loss to Arkansas. You lost to Duke. That's no slight. You beat Louisville. Huge win. Got smoked. And then you beat Illinois. First Big Ten game. Good win. I mean, it's a win you needed. You get smoked by Michigan. That's no slight. You barely lose at Maryland, which is crazy. That shows that you're a good team, that you almost beat Maryland at Maryland. And then here we go. You lose at home to Nebraska. Now, given this was a different Nebraska team back then, as they were completely healthy during that game. So, you got that to remember. But still, you lost at home. That's the key word, at home. You lost at home to Nebraska. You lost to us in Mackey. That's not a huge, that's People lose to Mackey. That's not a surprise. You lost at Northwestern. That's a shocker because, first off, Northwestern, not a good team. Second, definitely was a pro-IU crowd at Northwestern. It was almost like a home game. You lost at home to Michigan. Not a surprise, but you probably would have rather seen a better effort than 69-46. And then it gets weird. You lose at Rutgers. Horrible loss. You go to Michigan State and beat them. And at that moment, everybody's like, whoa, season's still alive. Still a chance to go to the tournament. We got back-to-back home games coming up. Home games. At home. Back-to-back. Chance to get 2 more quality wins and get back in the hunt. What do? Lose to Iowa, lose to Ohio State at home. Now, I don't know how you get in besides winning the tournament. I don't think you can. You could run the table. What happens if you run the table? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more wins. That gets you to 20-11. Okay. I mean, we're talking major hypothetical here that they could win 7 straight. But Purdue's won 7 straight, so it can be done. I guess if you win out, you have a shot. Who do you have to beat? You have to go to Minnesota first. You're not going to be favored in that game. You got Purdue at home. Probably not going to be favored in that game after how you've been playing at Assembly Hall. Except for that game does scare me for Purdue because that's going to be like their Super Bowl. Then you go to Iowa. That doesn't look pretty. At home against Wisconsin, that doesn't look pretty. At home against Michigan State, that doesn't look pretty. And then you get to finish at Illinois and home against Rutgers. Rutgers team that beat you at Illinois should be a win, except for Illinois has been playing better of late. I don't see 7 wins there. I see 3, 4. Best case scenario, you go 4-3 to finish out the year. Sticks you at 17-14. Not great. Not great. What is going on with them? I mean, the game against Ohio State on Sunday was just ugly. Both sides. Neither side played well. I don't think that's a surprise. I don't think that's speaking out of line. Romeo had 15. That was the leader. For them, it was Wesson for Ohio State. 15 for him. I mean, Ohio State shot 44% from the field. IU 39.6. IU 30% from 3. 10 turnovers. Out-rebounded by 6. I don't know how you shoot that bad at home. 30% from 3? Now, this is where it gets interesting because now everybody starts chiming in. It's one or two things as a Purdue fan, and it's no surprise. And you can't generalize every IU fan into this category. You can't, but you can put over 50% of IU basketball fans in this category. And I've heard over the years the whole IU basketball, Notre Dame football, and how annoying that is. Yeah, it's annoying, but does it really matter? No. Who really cares? Because it's interesting how they trade in their candy striped pants for a microphone. And then when they're good, they put the microphone away and they break back out the pants. And by microphone, I mean you should not fire Archie Miller. And the fire Archie Miller brigade should relax. Like, take a step back. You shouldn't fire Archie Miller. And you shouldn't go around talking about how Romeo Langford's bad for this team. Relax on that one, too. Take Romeo off this team. He's won you some games. Sure, he's lost a few. He's a freshman. Easy there. Those are two things that, I mean, it's when they're good, it's you can't get away from people wearing their gear, running their mouths, talking about how great their team is. Romeo this, Romeo that, da-da-da-da-da-da. When they lose, you don't see the gear. You don't see the candy striped pants. You don't see him on Twitter talking about random fans who are, if Duke's good, they're fans of Duke. If IU's good, I'm from Indiana. I'm an IU fan. Talk about how great my team is. When they're bad, you break out the fire somebody or get rid of somebody. And every team has that. Every team does. There's been fire painter brigades around here that are insane, ridiculous. Every team has it. Does it feel like it gets stronger with certain fan bases? Absolutely. Absolutely it does. It's still going to be a bear when we have to go there. It's going to be a bear. It always is. Are we better? Yeah. Are we a better team? Absolutely. Are we continuing to get better? Yes, we are. Could we still go in there and get beat? Yes, we could. But is that place as scary as it used to be? Absolutely not. Step aside for a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some baseball free agency and unsportsmanlike conduct right after this on Next Point Wins. Welcome back to Next Point Wins. I'm your host, Matthew Geely. Just about 10 minutes left here on Next Point Wins before we close up shop. I wanted to get into a little bit of baseball free agency talk because it's been a weird offseason for the baseball, and it's an offseason they couldn't afford, but yet here they are. This is a sport that's in trouble. It's in trouble because it's losing interest. People don't care about baseball like they used to. It's not dying, but it's losing popularity. And Major League Baseball had an opportunity this offseason to get the spotlight, to gain some ground, and to excite people with two ginormous free agents out on the market in Manny Machado and Bryce Harper. And they have just absolutely blown it. Blown it. Nobody cares anymore. It's annoying. How do these two guys still go unsigned? Everywhere I turn, I hear Manny Machado to the White Sox and Bryce Harper to the Phillies. If that's true, sign them. Get some PR. Get some popularity. Get some excitement to your team, to the sport. They got to change this. There's got to be a way to change this. How exciting. I don't like the NBA. I don't watch the NBA on a daily basis. I don't. Was I excited on trade deadline day to see all those guys moving and stuff? Absolutely. I was one of those kids that used to play franchise mode when I was playing video games just so I could be the GM and like make trades and try to make the best team I could under salary cap and this and that and spend draft picks and get draft picks back. Like, I like being the GM. I like blockbuster trades. Who doesn't? It's exciting. You see players in different jerseys. You see a different looking league. It's fun. Baseball needs to capture that. There's got to be a way to change this to where these guys have to be signed by a certain date. And it's not just on these two players. It's on these teams too. And it's about 50-50 blame, it feels like. But it's got to be corrected. Really hard to follow and to like stay excited for. If those two guys are truly going to go where those two guys are going, they need to sign and move on. I just don't know what takes so long. Anybody see that half-court buzzer beater on Sunday, I think? It was, I'm trying to find the name of the school because it was a great shot. There it is, Missouri State. Missouri State hit a bananas shot. It was 65-63, Illinois State with the lead and the ball inbounding it, 7.8 seconds left. He starts running back and forth. He tries to lob it up to his teammate. Horrible pass. Goes into the hands of the Missouri State player. Then it gets poked out of his hands, and it goes fumbling towards center court, which at center court, there's probably the biggest grizzly bear logo I've ever seen in my life. Really distracting. It seriously almost goes from the three-point line to the three-point line on the other side. It's ginormous. Go look up Missouri State wins and wild finish on YouTube or ESPN or something. You'll find the video. It's a great video. Anyways, the ball goes scrambling to center court. There's just you guys saw that Super Bowl commercial, the NFL 100-year anniversary with all the players and the ball goes on the ground. It's a fumble and everybody's jumping on top of it. That's what it looks like here. Somehow Missouri State comes up with the ball like just about at the half court line with 1.2 seconds left, and the player grabs it, turns around, takes one dribble, and heaves it from exactly half court, banks it in to beat him 66-65. Just a bananas of a shot. It was awesome. It's the best thing I saw all weekend. It was so good. So good. All right. Before we close up shop here on Next Point Wins, let's get to unsportsmanlike conduct. I have one unsportsmanlike conduct, and I didn't think I had any until late Saturday night. I saw something that I'll never be able to get out of my head again. Here it is, unsportsmanlike conduct.
And now, an unsportsmanlike conduct.
Personal foul, number 15, unsportsmanlike conduct.
That's a horrible call!
All right, it was Conference of Champions, so Pac-12, which is not the Conference of Champions. Late night basketball, Saturday night. I get back from the Purdue game, and it's been a great day of college basketball, and I just don't want it to end, so I flip on ESPN, and I got Bill Walton and David Pash, I think is his name. Poor guy. No one really knows his name because Bill Walton's there. First off, let me just say that I love Bill Walton. I think Bill Walton is phenomenal. And here's why. If Bill Walton was calling games that Dick Vitale was calling, or calling games that Jay Billis was calling, or calling games that Jason Benetti or Robbie Hummel or Cart Kellogg or Gus Johnson or David Harlan, if he had those type of games, I would not like Bill Walton at all. But the fact that they put Bill Walton on the Pac-12 late night game every week is perfect. Because one, I don't care about the game at all. Two, if I don't want to watch it, I can go to bed. Three, when I do watch, I always laugh and I'm always entertained. Every time. So it was some producer's birthday on their broadcast. And they come back from commercial break, and Pash has a cupcake with the candle, and so does Bill. He has a cupcake with the candle. And David Pash starts talking about how we got our producer behind the scenes. It's his birthday. Let's celebrate, sing him happy birthday. And he turns to Bill, and he goes, Bill, you're probably better at this than I am. And he hands him a lighter, which is a funny joke because everybody knows what Bill does in his recreational times. And so Bill Walton's lighting the candles, and you can just hear Bill Walton kind of murmur, what's this guy's name? Talking about the producer. I don't know if he was being serious or not, but it was funny. And then he starts to sing happy birthday, but he doesn't know the words to happy birthday, which is insanely funny too for Bill Walton to not know how to sing happy birthday. And then David Pash, trying to be funny, which he should know better by this point because he's done a lot of games with Bill Walton, turns to him as the candle's lit on top of his cupcake, and he says, eat the candle with the cupcake lit. No, I'm sorry. Eat the cupcake with the candle lit. And Walton, without hesitating, just takes his lit candled cupcake, just shoves it in his mouth, eats it. And Pash just starts laughing and laughing. It was great. It was so good. Oh, it was hysterically funny. Bill Walton, David Pash does a great job, not letting Bill Walton get to him and not letting Bill Walton just, make him laugh. Bill Walton finally broke him. I mean, he couldn't even breathe. He was laughing so hard. He couldn't believe Bill Walton did it. It reminded me of like two fifth graders at lunch messing around. And like one tells the other one to eat this with this or eat that. Just like makes up a concoction that's disgusting and says you won't eat it. That's what it felt like. And of course, Bill Walton does it. And that's not even the end of it. And you might be like, what's the unsportsmanlike conduct? I'm gonna have to say, I'm going to give an unsportsmanlike conduct to anybody who keeps Bill Walton off of games or wants him to quit broadcasting. You get an unsportsmanlike conduct because Bill Walton is a treasure. He is a national treasure. And that's not it. So later in the game, they're doing like Bill Walton, like I guess he does this segment where I don't know what he does to be honest, but it's him pre-recorded somewhere nearby the stadium doing something, and Bill Walton makes it funny. Whatever. It's like nature with Bill Walton. Anyways, he's like riding this swan flamingo thing in like some little pond, talking about the pond, and I guess it's like important to Arizona State in some manner. I don't know how, but it is. And he finishes up his clip, and they go back to the game, and Bill Walton's talking about like, oh, it was awesome. That was a really cool moment for me to see this thing, and he's like, it feeds into the second largest U.S. national park, and then the game's going on, and he's like, he names the national park. I don't remember what it is, and then he turns to Pash, and he goes, do you know what the largest national park in the U.S. is? And Pash goes, no, Bill, I'm trying to watch the game, which is just a hysterical line. And Bill Walton, without even like acknowledging what David Pash says, starts going on and on about this national park. And it's just like that little back and forth banter. The only other two that I know who do it is Benetti and Dan Dockage. They do it all the time. It's really, really entertaining because Dockage will like make fun of Benetti and the White Sox, and then Benetti will make fun of Dockage. Like they were calling the Michigan-Wisconsin game on Saturday, and Benetti like asked Dockage what was wrong with somebody's shot, and Dockage just responded with like, he just can't shoot. And Benetti goes like, you're really nice, and he says like, you know, you're just a really nice guy, just being sarcastic to him. And they just go back and forth like that. It's fun. It's lighthearted. Sure, some of it might be kind of true, like, but all in all, like Dockage will ask Benetti when he finally gets to go back to spring training and get away. I mean, I think that's kind of where broadcasting's going. Yeah, you still have your Gus Johnsons and your Bill Rafterys and stuff, but we're starting to find out more and more that these games are entertaining in and of themselves, and you don't have to be bigger than the game. You can just like sit back and talk like you're sitting at home with your family or at a bar with your friends or whatever. You don't have to be throwing out 50,000 stats a game that no one cares about. You know, just kind of let the game call itself and then just throw in some light banter in the background. I don't know. So it's just a tangent I was thinking about. All right, Purdue at Maryland, Tuesday night, 6:30. It's a big night for me on Tuesday. I got that game. I have a Chicago Blackhawks team that they can bring a tear to my eye with how good they're playing. There's 12 NHL games on Tuesday night, all of which feature teams that seriously matter to me and the Blackhawks in their chase to try to make the playoffs as they go for 8th straight win. I got the Blackhawks and the Boilermakers streaking at the same time, and it's a good feeling. Not only that, but if you missed last week's show, go back, check out the first 15 minutes. I had an interview with Ashley Harding, a Boston native, following the Patriots Super Bowl win. We talked Patriots. We talked hot guy quarterbacks. We talked a little Purdue basketball. Anyways, she's a Bruins fan. She told me on the program I need to have her back on when the Bruins or the Celtics, or when they both win titles. Tuesday night, 7 p.m., Blackhawks at Bruins. It's very important to me. I take a lot of crap. I chose my path as a Chicago sports fan, and it hasn't been a path of much fun, aside from the Blackhawks, who she fails to mention 2010, 2013, and 2015, especially 2013, that was a win over the Bruins for the Cup. Anyways, she's had a lot more success lately than me with the Red Sox and the Patriots. I need this one Tuesday night. So I got that at 7. I got Purdue basketball at 6:30. It's a 2 TV night. I'm fired up. Should be great. Hawks are streaking. I'm going to go streaking if they keep streaking. Boilermakers are streaking. Here we go. Let's get juicy here. This just came to my head. Before we get off the show, I'll have the guys in the back keep me honest and keep me to this. 7. Hawks have won 7 in a row. If they get to 10 and Purdue gets to 10, if they both win 10 in a row, I will go streaking. Yep. You heard it here first. Hawks win 10 in a row, Purdue wins 10 in a row, I'll go streaking. Purdue already has 8, so they got to win at Maryland and at home against Penn State. That gets them to 10. For the Blackhawks, in order to get to 10, they have to win against Boston on Tuesday night. And then they got to beat, that gets them to 8. And then their 9th game will be I'm looking. Okay, their 9th game will be Thursday at home against New Jersey. And then their 10th game will be Saturday. Oh, they both will be going for 10 in a row on Saturday at home against Columbus. Holy smokes. I just got scared. I don't know why I just got scared, but I just got scared. I did. I'll be honest. I just got scared. All right. If they both win 10 in a row, I'm going streaking, just like they are streaking. We will unpack all of this on Monday after hopefully a couple wins on both sides. Purdue, Maryland, Tuesday night. Purdue at home Saturday. Tune in. Keep track of your questions, comments, and concerns. Email them to me at nextptwins@gmail.com. If you missed any part of this show, go check it out on SoundCloud and YouTube. Just search Next Point Wins. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see you soon.